Welcome back. Morning fog should be lifting in our area with warmer temperatures expected this afternoon.
Now here's meteorologist Jim Dickey with the weather.
A nice day here to end the work week, but changes on tap for the weekend. This morning's AccuWeather forecast brought to you by Lou G and Fredericks, your florist for cut flowers, floral arrangements, and plants. They're located at 345 State Street, Bangor, in the Victorian House, across from their former location. Here's a look at the radar and satellite imagery early this morning. All this rainfall departing, perhaps a lingering shower early on, but more than likely by the time you step out the door, you'll be greeted by some clear skies. However, there will be some dense fog in spots. All this moisture left around, still quite humid. That will allow that fog to form as we track on through these early morning hours. But through the morning into the afternoon, that will dissipate. Warmth surging in and ahead of a strong cold front that will bring the changes I talked about as into the weekend. But ahead of it, we squeeze a pleasant day in here. Down east, temperatures just south of 70, 67 in Machias, 66 sunny skies in Eastport again after some morning fog. 67 in Ellsworth, 68 degrees in Belfast, 68 into Bucksport as well. Augusta coming in at 71, 71 in Waterville, Skowhegan here too. Again, watch out for that fog early on this morning, which will dissipate as we head through the morning. 69, Dexter, Lincoln, 71 degrees with sunshine into Pittsfield. Further northward, keeping it sunny. 65 in Greenville, 67 degrees in Millinocket. Similar story here in Bangor at 70. Again, some fog early on. We'll keep it sunny as we head through the afternoon. Overall, a very nice day, especially when looking forward here. Marine forecast, winds stay light, 5 to 10 knots from the east, waves 2 to 4 feet. Visibility held down in that fog early on. Now into the overnight, front approaches. Clouds on the increase. Temperature still staying fairly pleasant at 52 degrees. But that next front will roll in. And we'll start to see the rainfall late tomorrow, becoming steady, heavy at times through the afternoon into the evening. 65 your daytime high, and that will likely be as warm as we get headed forward. Looking at your exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast as cooler air surges in behind this front. Temperatures in the 50s during the day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, overnight lows. Many spots down to the 30s. Our next round of rain comes in on Wednesday.
Thank you, Jim. With a successful debate performance now under his belt, Mitt Romney is now distancing himself from his own words about that 47%. In the past, he stood by the comments, but overnight, there was a major change.
ABC's Tamon Bradley joins us from Washington with more.
With his campaign re-energized after a strong showing in Wednesday's debate, Mitt Romney took on the controversy surrounding his comments that 47% of Americans are dependent on government. Shortly after a tape of his comments were released, Romney said his remarks were not eloquently stated, but in an interview last night on Fox News, he offered a new explanation.
Says something that's just completely wrong. And I absolutely believe, however, that my life has shown that I care about 100%.
President Obama, meanwhile, is trying to rebound from what many believe was a lackluster debate performance. Before a crowd of 30,000 in Madison, Wisconsin yesterday, the president suggested Romney's performance was just an act.
I met this very spirited fellow who claimed to be Mitt Romney. But I know it couldn't have been Mitt Romney, because the real Mitt Romney's been running around the country for the last year promising $5 trillion in tax cuts that favor the wealthy.
Obama campaign advisors were even more blunt, accusing Romney of being dishonest on the debate stage. But some of the president's supporters and liberal pundits are baffled by what they saw as a passive performance.
I felt like he should have been more aggressive.
I don't know what he was doing out there. He had his head down. He was enduring the debate rather than fighting it.
President Obama could have new worries today when the monthly jobs numbers are released. Economists predict the unemployment rate could go up from 8.1% to 8.2%. Tamon Bradley, ABC News, Washington.
The manhunt is over for 2 out-of-staters accused of shooting 3 local people to death in August, then burning their bodies in a car here in Bangor. And before sunrise yesterday, Massachusetts State Police apprehended the second suspect. At around 4:30 a.m. Thursday, authorities arrested 31-year-old Nicholas Sexton of Warwick, Rhode Island, in the city of Brockton. Sexton made a Massachusetts court appearance where he pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of murder and 1 count of arson. Last month, we reported that Sexton was known to have driven the white Pontiac in which officials discovered 3 badly burned bodies off of Target Industrial Circle August 13th. Sexton is now fighting extradition to Maine and is being held without bail at the Plymouth House of Corrections. His next court date is set for October 31st.
Meanwhile, a Penobscot County Superior Court judge arraigned the other suspect in this case, 34-year-old Randall Ricky DeLuz.
He was captured in New Bedford, Massachusetts on Wednesday, and his arraignment came just hours after Sexton's arrest.
Shackled in chains, 34-year-old Ricky Money DeLuz appeared stoic but compliant as he pleaded not guilty to all charges against him inside a Penobscot Judicial Center courtroom. DeLuz is accused of shooting 3 young Mainers and leaving their bodies to burn in a car parked in Target Industrial Circle in Bangor on August 13th. His arraignment comes a day after facing a Massachusetts judge.
You know, he's sad. He's understands the significant situation he's in.
Before his arrest, DeLuz was discovered laying on the sidewalk, practically giving himself up to police. But allegedly arresting a second suspect wasn't so easy.
No, this was a tactical entry made by the Massachusetts State Police, this one, as I understand it.
31-year-old Nicholas Sexton of Warwick, Rhode Island, has been arrested in DeLuz's hometown, Brockton, Massachusetts. It's likely the two will undergo a joint trial.
In any sort of case, you need the same evidence to prove them both guilty, and the courts favor trying people in these circumstances together where they were together that evening and they are accomplices to one another.
And it'll be a good stretch of time before we know exactly what happened on that night when Nicole Lugden, Lucas Toscano, and Dan Borders were murdered. Their family coming face to face with DeLuz for the first time.
He is presently being held without bail. I anticipate that to continue until he's tried. I don't expect a trial for approximately a year.
In the coming days, DeLuz's lawyer says they will discuss the possibility of a bail hearing. A family in the town of Hudson is displaced after fire wreaked havoc on their Amber Lane home. Officials say most of the damage is to the home's exterior, with mainly heat and smoke damage confined to the interior. Assisting Hudson Fire were crews from Corinth, Bradford, Glenburn, Charleston, Old Town, and Alton. After the flames were finally put down, firefighters told us the structure's design made it challenging.
The metal roof makes it difficult for crews to get onto it, and the length of the roof and the pitch ended up having to bring a ladder truck out to get to it, which we don't have, to open the roof up to get crews on there.
No one was injured in the fire. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Police have issued an arrest warrant for a Verona man currently behind bars in Massachusetts on drug charges for attempting to kill an Orrington man and burn his house down nearly 3 months ago.
Our Kristen Hosfeld has the story.
Aggravated attempted murder, arson, and 2 counts of criminal threatening. That's what 24-year-old Oscar Nunez is being charged with in connection to a shooting and fire that happened on July 22nd. Now police just have to get him back from Massachusetts, where he's being held on drug charges.
He's in custody. We know where he is, and we're filing this complaint, requesting an arrest warrant so that if he's released or at some point in time, we can get him to Maine and hold him accountable for what he's done.
According to Almy, Nunez threatened David Ireland, who was living at this house, after Ireland had apparently stolen his drug customers. Unhappy with the results of prior threats, Nunez allegedly poured gallons of gasoline around the home, set it on fire, and then shot several rounds into the house before leaving.
What's disturbing about this is that it was clear that the way this crime was committed, that the perpetrator, Mr. Nunez, was intent on doing significant harm or death to the people inside.
We talked to the owner of this home, who did not want to appear on camera. He said he found the shotgun shells that would later tie Nunez to the scene that night.
They found the gun that belonged to those shells, and they found DNA on the gun that belonged to this defendant.
Ireland was also arrested shortly after the incident for drug trafficking, but has since been released. If convicted, Nunez faces up to 30 years in prison. In Orrington, I'm Kristen Hosfeld.
Kristen, thanks. Authorities have charged a Burnham man after a burglary when police say he cut a hole inside of a Unity pharmacy before stealing prescription drugs. Now, officials say 42-year-old Douglas Pagliaroli entered the Unity pharmacy early Sunday morning after cutting a hole through one of the building's exterior walls. Police took him into custody yesterday afternoon at his home on the Winnicook Road in Burnham. He's now at the Waldo County Jail, and state police and community members ultimately identified Pagliaroli through surveillance images.
The Maine State Police are investigating a home robbery in Kenduskeag that happened earlier this week, which generated an area shopping spree. The State Police Barracks at Orono reports credit cards, jewelry, and personal documents were taken from a Kenduskeag home on Tuesday. The credit cards were then used at several greater Bangor retailers, including TJ Maxx, to buy clothes and jewelry. Images taken from surveillance video show two females making those purchases. The images also show the subject's vehicle, possibly a Ford Taurus or Mercury Marquis. If you have any information that may assist state police in locating those responsible, call Trooper Matt Grant at 866-2121.
Bangor police have charged a man accused of breaking into an abandoned home on Mount Hope Avenue yesterday morning. 29-year-old Philip Ellis of Alton is charged with burglary, trafficking dangerous knives, and refusal to submit to arrest. When officers responded to the vacant Mount Hope Avenue home investigating a possible break-in, they found Ellis inside. Now, officials say he then fled and a foot chase ensued. Ellis should appear in court today. He's being held at the Penobscot County Jail. And still to come here this morning, a debate was held in the Augusta Civic Center yesterday.
We'll tell you who was there when we return. Stay with us.
Well, to be honest, I still only had time to do one today. It might have been because I had to change the light bulb though, and that took a while.
Tell Chad, no, I don't know why.
Clay says he does not know why.
Welcome back. A man's body is found floating in Lake Auburn, plus state officials hold a spill containment exercise in Scarborough.
And an act of generosity allows one Brunswick couple to keep their pet. Greg Lagerquist takes us around the state.
Checking news around the state, I'm Greg Lagerquist. Police are investigating after a body is found floating in Lake Auburn. Investigators say a man's corpse was discovered about 9:30 Thursday morning near the western shore of the lake by an Auburn Water and Sewer District worker. Crews from the police, fire department, and Maine Warden Service came out to take the body and bring it to the medical examiner's office to try to determine a cause of death. The man's identity isn't known at this point, or at least hasn't been released. Auburn police and Maine State Police are investigating. In Scarborough, about a half dozen emergency crews spent the day cleaning up, or at least going through the motions. It was all part of a drill being run by the Maine Department of Environmental Protection. Rain didn't stop those crews from getting out of the water there to experiment with new strategies for containing spills. Today, it wasn't oil being cleaned up. The DEP opted for a more citrusy spill using oranges. Again, part of a drill. They'll do it next in Wells. Meantime, a dog that a couple took from a shelter in Brunswick will get to keep the dog. The couple took the beagle named Shadow from the Coastal Humane Society, saying they wanted him but couldn't afford the $249 adoption fee at the time. Well, now a donor has stepped forward and offered to pay that fee, so the couple can take Shadow home. The couple says they will repay that generosity to the donor by volunteering regularly at that shelter. With your news around the state, I'm Greg Lagerquist.
Greg, thank you. A passenger vessel encounters trouble off the Bar Harbor coastline last night. U.S. Coast Guard officials say at around 7:45, a vessel tasked with transporting passengers between an anchored Celebrity cruise ship and the mainland ran aground on Bar Island. 93 passengers and 2 crew members were aboard at the time. A local whale watching company came to their aid and gave all a lift back to the ship. No injuries were reported. Meanwhile, the Coast Guard is investigating and hopes to have the tender removed from Bar Island by this morning.
2 of the 3 candidates for Olympia Snow's open Senate seat took part in a debate at the Augusta Civic Center yesterday. Hosted by the Maine Municipal Association, both independent Angus King and Democrat Cynthia Dill were on hand to debate a number of issues, many pertaining to the relationship between the federal, state, and local governments.
We live in a complex world. We live in a global economy. I think the role of the federal government has gotten larger as the society that we live in has gotten more complex, and that we deal with countries with different cultures and business protocols. So we have trade agreements now. We have a variety of things that we didn't have in the past, and I recognize the need to evolve. But I think it's incredibly important for local communities to be able to govern themselves to the highest extent possible.
Both were also asked if they were in favor of the Marketplace Fairness Act, which would allow for the collection of sales taxes on internet purchases.
Now we're at a point where we can do it, and it should be done. It's just a simple. It's a matter of fiscal prudence for the states and localities, but it's also a matter of fairness to our local merchants.
Summers was unable to attend the debate because of a scheduling conflict.
Pittsfield-based Chinbro Corporation wrapped up a 2-year-long project yesterday, and it involved navigating the high seas. Yesterday afternoon, workers at the company's eastern manufacturing facility in Brewer loaded the last 4 of 22 electrical modules onto a floating barge. On a single barge, as you can see here, 2 3-story modules measuring over 60 feet high, plus 2 other 2-story modules. Those structures are now making their 5-day river and ocean journey up to Newfoundland. The gray modules form the electrical infrastructure for a Canadian nickel processing plant. 250 people worked on this project since its inception.
Perhaps you've got a pet at home and would like to help one in need. Well, now you can donate dollars to help feed the pets of older Mainers this winter. Green Acres Kennel Shop on Union Street in Bangor is holding a fundraiser for the Eastern Area Agency on Aging Furry Friends Food Bank. Kennel customers can make a donation at the time of payment, and Green Acres will match those funds if they exceed $1,000.
For seniors and others on a fixed income, they might be disabled, they've got a pet in their home, and they're having to make choices this time of year between buying fuel oil or buying their prescriptions or feeding the pet. So it's a way to really help keep the pet in the home with these people.
The drive will run through November 30th, and for more information, log on to our website, foxbangor.com.
Still to come here this morning, we'll tell you why mall goers were asked to take a seat while shopping yesterday.
That is after the break, but first, here's your job of the day.
Welcome back. City officials are encouraging the public to take a seat at the Bangor Mall, where the new seats slated for installation in the Cross Insurance Center, now in progress, are on display. The new facility will feature 8,000 seats, some of which will be set up in the mall through October 20th. Main company Hussey Seating, in business for over 150 years, manufactured the seats. Both the Queen City and Hussey say it's important Maine-made products are a central part of the ongoing project, and from what we've been hearing, the seats are very comfortable.
One of the things that I'm most excited about, no more wooden bleachers, no more wooden folded seats, no more ergonomically incorrect seating to watch whatever event you come to watch.
We want people that are sitting in our chairs for 2 or 3 hours to feel like they had a very comfortable viewing experience, and not even really thinking about the chair because it is so comfortable is important.
The Arena and Convention Center are scheduled to open in the fall of 2013. The seats are going to be installed next month.
Bangor Hydro's plan to interrupt power to parts of Hamden and Herman throughout the morning in order to perform system upgrades. The company says between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. today, it plans to cut power to the I-95 Hamden rest area on the northbound side, as well as the homes on the Miller Road, Bog Road, Smith Road, Greeks Landing, and Justin Lane. A rain date is on the calendar for Tuesday, October 9th during the same time frame. Any customers with questions may call Bangor Hydro's Customer Service Center at 947-2414.
A University of Chicago scientist has made quite an interesting discovery. He says he's identified a new dinosaur. Paul Serrano says the Pegamastax africanus would have looked something like a two-legged porcupine. He also says the animal was less than 2 feet long and weighed less than a house cat. While Serrano was the first to describe this species, it was actually excavated in the 1960s. Scientists say the dinosaur lived about 200 million years ago. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And we were saying earlier that we think that dinosaur was around when our chief photographer started here. We're pretty sure.
Time of the dinosaurs.
He had one of those, Dave Simpson, as a pet.
Sorry, Dave, but besides the morning fog, it should be mostly sunny and warm today. But what about the weekend weather?
Now here's meteorologist Jim Dickey to find out more.
A nice day on tap to end the work week here today. This morning's AccuWeather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks, your florist for cut flowers. Floral arrangements and plants are located at 345 State Street, Bangor, in the Victorian House, across from their former location. The rain that was in place all yesterday evening, that's departing out to the north and east. Still a spotty shower early on, especially down east, but outside of that, drying out, clearing out. There will be some fog in places this morning, dense in spots as we saw that moisture from yesterday's rainfall. That combined with humidity, that will keep that fog in place. But as we head through the morning, fog will dissipate rather quickly here, and actually a warm day on tap. There's a strong frontal boundary approaching. Out ahead of that are winds out of the west and southwest, so temperature-wise, quite warm. 66 in Eastport, 67 in Machias. Warm especially compared to where we're headed for the weekend. That cold front will bring in cooler air, so enjoy this here today. A sunny 66 in Bar Harbor, 67 in Ellsworth, 68 under sunny skies in Bucksport again after that morning fog, 71 degrees. Nice day. Skowhegan, Waterville, down through Augusta. For the norther here, keeping it pleasant, 69 in Dexter, Lincoln, 71. Sunny skies into Pittsfield. We'll keep it in the 60s in across the Greenville area, 65, 67 in Millinocket, 69 degrees with sunshine through the afternoon in Dover, Foxcroft, 70. On the nose. Plenty of sunshine after this fog dissipates here in Bangor. But as we head through the overnight hours, that strong cold front, that's approaching. So clouds on the increase, even as we keep it dry. 52, your overnight low. No real issues as you look at your marine forecast here. Winds stay light, 5 to 10 knots, waves 2 to 4 feet. Visibility held down that early morning fog. But that front will push in as you look at your exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. To start the weekend, we'll see some steady rainfall late in the day through the overnight. More rain on Sunday with this, and temperatures backing off quite a bit. 65 Saturday, down the 40s overnight, only at 56 on Sunday. We'll hold in the 50s Monday on to Tuesday. Monday night down to 35 degrees, chilly. Our next system, that's rolling in on Wednesday, keeping us on the cooler side.
Welcome back. Thursday marked Read for the Record Day around the globe. It's a unifying occasion when millions of children read the same book.
And it's part of an international effort to promote literacy. Our Aaron Thomas visited a participating Maine school and has the story.
Children from around the world were all read the same book, and even in Augusta. In an effort to promote literacy and spread awareness, Maine's First Lady, Ann LePage, read that book, Ladybug Girl and the Bug Squad, to a group of second graders at Farrington Elementary School.
We need to provide them with all the tools that they need to be successful, and I think reading is one of those tools.
Reading and literacy happens throughout the day, through everywhere, at work, at home, at play. So it just brings a bigger component than it's reading time at school.
Read for the Record Day is an annual event put on by Jumpstart and the Pearson Foundation to encourage kids all over the world to read. Students were given their own copy of Ladybug Girl and the Bug Squad to take home.
They'll have that book for years and can share it with their siblings. Anytime we can get books or any type of literature in the homes, it's a bonus.
And I think as parents, you know, with the teachers, we're our most important people for our kids. And so we need to do whatever we can do to help them shoot for the stars and have a successful future.
Now, last year's World Reading Day was a record breaker with 2.1 million children being read to around the world. And participants say they hope this year is another record breaker. In Augusta, I'm Aaron Thomas.
Aaron, thanks. That does it for us here on Fox Bangor. Thank you for watching.
For everyone here at Fox Bangor and ABC 7, our sister station, thanks for spending your morning with us.
Have a good day.
See you tomorrow. I mean Monday.
See you Monday. Bad too.
It's because she's beside you. And
it's
like,
presidential debate. President. We'll be right back.
that was hysterical.
That was
I
great.
laughed so hard. I was like, I gave him a 10 count. What the hell?